Why don't you give us your assessment of the Mueller report and its aftermath?
Well, I think it is quite remarkable that, Mueller was not even able to fabricate some evidence. But, it basically means that 2 years of what Trump characterized many times as a witch hunt did not lead to the desired result. I must say that it's quite remarkable that Trump withstood all of this. And in one tweet, he said that this must never happen again because he would not know of many people who could handle this. And that's probably true because the coordinated campaign against him was international, it was media, it was intelligence, it was establishments of other countries. So I think it's a major development that he is now free of that. And in one of his tweets, he did refer to the fact that he is quite aware of the role of the British in all of this. So I think that this is a very important development. I think the fact that Attorney General Barr also said that there is no evidence of obstruction of justice is important. But I think the most plausible argument for that was given by Pat Lang, who said, given the fact that there was no Russian collusion, there was no crime, and where there was no crime, there is no obstruction of justice. And I think that that is it. So now we have to see how this unfolds. This will have all kinds of immediate and medium-term ramification. Congressman Nunes, who is a ranking member in the House Intelligence Committee, basically said that on Tuesday next week, he will make a criminal referral to the Attorney General to investigate all of this, to go after what he calls dirty cops in the FBI and in the Department of Justice, and that he will basically demand that all of these things be investigated. So I think, there is a chorus of people who say, now is the time of reckoning. Now we have to look at, who did that, who paid for it. And Nunes also said that he wants to find out what was actually the scope of the mandate for Mueller. What was he supposed to look for? So I think this will be a very interesting fight. But as much as this is reason to have relief, I think we should also be not, not leave down the attention and the guard, because as long as the British Empire and this apparatus, which went after Trump in what some people correctly call the biggest scandal in American history, unless this apparatus is really dismantled, they will find new ways to entrap the whole situation. And one example, I think we can see, that President Trump, who is absolutely right on when he says that he is the president who wants to end the permanent wars around the world, who wants to withdraw US troops from Afghanistan and Syria. But I think a very weak flank is what is happening around Venezuela. And I think, the role of Vice President Pence and Bolton and Pompeo in that is really on the question of regime change. And the danger is that Trump is being pulled into this. There was just this ad hoc press conference in the White House where Pence apparently walked in with the wife of the self-appointed so-called president of Venezuela, Guaido, and gave a press conference, and Trump then gave a press conference together with her. This is a story unfolding, so I don't have a final assessment on it. But, I think Pompeo called Foreign Minister Lavrov of Russia 2 days ago and warned Russia not to meddle in Venezuela, that the United States would not sit idly by. Now, obviously, Lavrov answered to that by saying that, warning the United States of not intending to make a coup against the legitimate government of Venezuela, that this violates international law, the UN Charter, and so forth. But as you can see, this is an extremely dangerous situation. And one can only hope that the people who demand that a political solution is found will prevail. The Brazilian defense minister said that Brazil will have absolutely no participation in any military approach. But this ad hoc press conference in the White House is worrisome because, they were going fully with, the wife of Guaido was fully saying children are dying, which probably is very true. But, the pretext of a humanitarian intervention is really a very dangerous moment. Otherwise, I think President Trump, he has to be lauded for having withstood this incredible Russiagate. But I think we have to be really very attentive and give him support so that he does not, fall into these kinds of scenarios, which could bring about a confrontation with Russia very quickly.